Hello everybody, it's Nancy News here, and today we've got some breaking news from a lot of political updates and updates today, if you can see in this line. So we've got a lot to discuss about, and it's probably going to be a longer video than normal. But first we're going to get into the US. So if you didn't know, the US presidential debates did happen. Donald Trump and Joe Biden went at it, and the media like CNN and stuff are clearly saying that it is a clear Donald Trump victory in this debate. Biden couldn't really keep up with him. He did stutter a lot. He did a lot of things wrong. He couldn't actually answer some questions about abortions and stuff. So very interesting, and I'll keep you more updated on that. The full presidential debate will be in the link in the description. A lot of Ukrainian stuff came up, Putin came up, Xi Jinping came up, Kim Jong Un came up. Pretty interesting debates, actually. Pretty interesting debate. And that's not the only president thing that's happening. The presidential elections in Iran has started. So this comes due to the last president actually died in a helicopter crash on the 19th of May, I believe. Yes, 19th of May. And the president was killed in that helicopter crash. So the presidential elections are happening today in Iran, and there's four candidates. So one of them is a hardline conservative and a former nuclear negotiator and a war veteran. So he is most likely to win. His name is Sahid. So very interesting, and by the time of next video, there should be a new Iranian president of Iran. Now we're going to go to North Korea and Pyongyang. So there's pretty breaking news are coming from Pyongyang. So Pyongyang has stated from Kiev Post that Pyongyang will send troops to Ukraine within a month. So this comes as the Putin's visit to North Korea shocked the world, and apparently, Ukraine, the Kiev Post is saying that Pyongyang will send troops to Ukraine within a month, obviously on the side of Russia. And if this does happen, I'm not saying that this is the truth. It could just be just propaganda against Russia and North Korea, I don't know. But if this is true that this would happen, then it's a big escalation, and we could expect NATO army the NATO forces going into Ukraine, which is probably already in Ukraine, let's be honest. We've got more news that the Congolese president and Vladimir Putin met in Moscow today. So there's a lot of things that happen. The Congolese president expresses his thoughts that cooperation between Russia and the Congo should continue and rise more. So in the next coming like months and stuff, we can expect more economic trade between Russia and the Congo. It could even be military support, maybe like small arm weapons, because Russia has a big stockpile of them just from the Soviet Union alone. So very interesting news. We could probably see, small arm transfers or just economic stuff. We don't know. And we've got some interesting news coming from the EU and Belgium. So obviously, if you didn't know that, Zelensky did sign some security agreements with, I believe, Lithuania and Estonia, and Ukraine signs a security pact with the EU. So this comes as for today. So very interesting news, and right after they signed that peace treaty, that security treaty, Zelensky says to the reporters that we don't have too much time. We do not want it to last for years, this war. And he says, we have many wounded and killed on the battlefield. We must put a settlement plan on this table within a few months. So people, the news, that was stated by Zelensky, by the way. The news have already taken the streets and said, is Zelensky in trouble? Is he losing? Is he losing support around him? Is that why he's saying this? So obviously he stated that, and he wants an end to this war in the coming months. So we can expect that to happen. Putin has already laid down his his agreements, Russia said that it will be keeping all this territory, including Crimea and obviously the new captured occupied territories of this red outline here, Russian occupation in Ukraine. So very, very interesting. And there was reports that Putin would like Ukraine to completely withdraw from the Donbass region and the Zaporozhye region and the Kherson region. So very interesting. And some news actually came today in Hungary. So Viktor Orban, so he is stated among Western officials as a pro-Russian government or like a pro-Putin guy. So Zelensky and Viktor Orban, the president of obviously Hungary, as I stated, had a tough conversation, if you can see, with Zelensky. So they both seem to be disagreeing, and they look like they're having a little argument here. So it's unclear what they actually were talking about, and we got some news that actually published quite recently that the Hungarian PM's office demands recognition. The Hungarian PM's office demands recognition of all of the Ukrainians' Zalpatir as traditional Hungarian. So if you don't know where that is, this is this oblast here. So it's this oblast here. So this was traditionally under Hungary for most of Hungary's existence. So it only became a province of Ukraine, I believe, don't count me on this, the fall of Germany during World War II. So obviously the Hungarians joined the Germans and they ended up losing, and this being stripped off Hungary and obviously joining the USSR, but it was put into the Ukrainian satellite, the Ukrainian kind of like state. So very strong feelings come from there, and we've got some news actually. What I stated yesterday, that Stoltenberg has responded to the Polish Prime Minister about the financing the fortifications that I was talking about yesterday. So Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia have talked about making this big, huge border, like a Maginot Line, going through the Belarus, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, not going through it, of course, but like on the border. So they want to make I believe, a $2.4 billion euro package that makes a huge fortifications along the front lines of Russia, Belarus, including the Kaliningrad bit here. So Stoltenberg has said that there has no objections to financing the fortifications on the border with the Russian Federation and the Republic of Belarus from the EU budget. So pretty big news, so we can expect this actually taking place pretty soon. So we don't know if there's going to be a one probably on the Finnish and Norwegian border of Russia. Maybe it's a bit too big, because if we just measure this, just the Norwegian and Finnish border with Russia, it is a huge border. So let's just look at here. So it's 1,200 kilometers. So very interesting. So we can expect that to happen. We got news coming from Copenhagen in Denmark that Denmark will stop training all Ukrainian pilots at the end of the year due to its equipment progress in the country's F-35s. They're replacing all F-16s with F-35 jets. So all Ukrainian pilots that will be training in the F-16s, there'll be no more training in Denmark, at least. They could be training in other countries in NATO, but Denmark has fully cancelled it. So they will obviously finish the training of the Ukrainian pilots this year and obviously send them to Ukraine, but no more pilot training in Denmark. We've got a Russian ad that has been appearing in Russian TV news, which I would like you to watch really quickly. So.
Ну что-то много еще? Много. Но работу доделать надо.
So, very interesting ad. So, these road workers were changing the name of Avdivka to the Russian name. So, I think the Russian one's like Aviavdivka or something. I don't know. But so there was the two road workers changing the sign to the Russian version, and they finished it and they went to the van, and the road workers say, well, how much more do we have to do? And the old guy says, a lot, but the work needs to be completed. So very interesting news. And within the van were different Ukrainian cities, which they were obviously planning to change the Russian name. So, and they said there's still a lot to be completed. So Russia seems to be staying strong in this war and seems to be willing to continue for however long it may last. And we got some more news that Russian technology and drone jammers are becoming very regular and common in the Russian ranks. So if we see here, this is a kamikaze drone detector. So if you can hear in the video, it seems to go off, signaling that there's a Ukrainian FPV drone inbound. So, and that's not the only video we got from that. There was another squadron that had this. So the drone went off, and the drone actually got shot down. If you can see here, the Russian soldier actually shoots down the drone, and it seems at the end gets like another signal of another one coming. So very interesting. And we got some news today coming from the Russian and Ukrainian border here. So there's reports that Russians have actually crossed the border between Russia and Ukraine and captured this village here, which I am not going to pronounce, if you can see here. But we don't know yet. It's still in the grey zone. Ukrainian sources haven't uh, said anything about it. They just said it was in the grey zone. Maybe it was just Russians crossing the border, recon missions, testing the Ukrainian defences, or they might stay and continue like another buffer zone, what they've done in Kharkiv, if you can see here. So very interesting. Obviously, we've got news in Syria that an American MQ-1 Grey Eagle reconnaissance strike UAV crashed in Syria, and it went down in the Deir Ezzin province, so somewhere around here. And it is not clear yet whether it was shot down or it fell due to technical reasons, which the US usually cites to explain the loss of another drone. So this actually goes co-in-hand to what we actually got today. So there was another American drone operating in Syria, if you can see here, but a Russian jet actually intercepts it, if you can see here. And it seems that the US has already called this unprofessional flying. So very interesting. We got news coming from Hezbollah and Israel, obviously, coming from northern Israel. So the head of the Israeli Air Force, Major General Tomer Bar, has stated that he believes that Hamas will be defeated in Gaza soon, and that the Israeli Air Force is fully prepared to engage in hostilities against Hezbollah in Lebanon, if and when the Israeli government orders it. So this actually this actually goes co in hand again with actually Israeli armor going towards the Hezbollah border. And there's been some sources stating that this war actually might kick off in 48 hours or 24 hours. So very interesting. And we've got news that the Hezbollah rockets have been fired again over Israel. It seems that most of them or all of them actually got shot down, if you can see in this video. None of them seem to have gotten through. And the last news coming today is that the Georgian Parliament has uh, again passed a package of bills in the first reading that bans the LGBTQ movement in Georgia. And we've also got news that the Cupin Bolivia, the general, has been sentenced to 20 years in prison. and the Russian Interior Minister has arrived in the United States. So, if we said before that there was a plane that went from Moscow all the way to New York, so it seems that the Russian Interior Minister has actually arrived in the United States. So the sources were correct. What I stated from yesterday's video. That's all I have for you today on non-scene news. I will try to provide you the non-scene news that Western medias and other medias do not show you. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you like and subscribe, and I'll see you, as always, in the next video. See ya.